Hello guys, welcome back with another video on our channel LearnWidGiggs. In today's video, I will walk you through a recorded Power BI interview session that took place today. And please watch the video till the end, especially the people who are thinking of giving Power BI interviews in different companies in 2022. This recorded session is for you. You please analyze yourself, test your preparation and see which all questions you are able to answer asked during this interview session. So let's start the session. Hello. Yeah, hi Shivika.
Hello.
Yeah, hi. So how much relevant experience do you have in Power BI?
So I have around 3.5 years experience.
Okay, and how much will you rate yourself out of 10?
So I rate myself 8 out of 10 in Power BI.
Okay, fine. Okay, let's start with the first question. So suppose you are in Power Query Editor. So if we have two or more queries that we want to append, so what should be the what should be the minimal condition to append those two queries?
Okay. So I have two queries that you need to append,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think so you can just append it. The one thing that should be there is they should have same number of columns, and if they don't have same number of columns, I think so there will be a problem that you'll have, if there are extra columns in either of them, the other table will show nulls. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think so. Yeah, that's the only thing that's required.
Okay, so only the number of columns should be same. And what about their data types? If the data
Yeah,
types do not match,
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah. No. The data type should also be the same. So the number of columns should be same, the name should be
mm-hmm.
same, and the data type should be same. So if there's some extra columns, in either of them, or if the data type or name is different, then they'll consider it as a new row, a new column. So they'll take nulls. So like these
Okay,
are the three
okay.
basic things that we have to take care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And have you heard about query folding?
Yeah. So query folding is something, what happens is if you're using some database as a source, I know SQL as like for SQL
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure of. So if there are some transformations that can be done in the SQL side, that will be faster, because
Mm-hmm.
SQL is made for that, for those things, maybe some where clause or some columns, some things. So uh, query folding happens in Power BI. It automatically happens in Power BI if you have SQL as the source and if you've written your query in such a manner that if you've used native query, most of the times the query folding happens. So
Mm-hmm.
this is optimization technique that we can use uh, so that
Okay.
the processing would be faster, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay. Suppose can you open your chat section? I am sending something and you have to answer accordingly. Okay. So, okay, suppose you have a column which contains values like this, which I am sending, 0, 1, 1, 4. Okay, something like this you have in all the rows. Okay,
Okay.
so as you can see, this is a kind of a date, right?
Yeah.
But you have a column which contains these kinds of records, and the data type of that column is number. Okay,
Okay. Hmm.
as they are representing numbers. So
Yeah.
now if I want to convert into date, how will you do that thing?
Maybe I have never done this, but what we can do is we can go and we can change the data type to date, and then once we go there, once we change the data type, there's also an option that what kind of data type that you want. So if you can check it from there that if it is present, maybe I think so it's written 2022-01 14th. I think so it's 14th January 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we can check it there that our data is present in this manner, that first year is present, then month is present, and then date is present. There's an option that there's an option for this, that if you want your date to be this in this particular manner, you can just check that. So it will automatically take, okay, this is your year. The first thing is taken as year, the first 4 digits, the next 2 digits are taken as month, and the last 2 digits are taken as the date. So yeah, this
So
is
you
something.
are saying, if we are going to directly change its data type from number to date, it will work, right? As per you.
Yeah, we have to change, and we also have to go to the date. Once you change it, there's an option of checking what kind of date is date we are using. It's mmdd format, or it's year, month, year, date, like that format. So you have to change, you have to check that as well. Then I think so it can be done. This
Okay,
is what.
fine.
Yeah.
So Shivika, suppose you have a column which contains records something like this, which I'm sending right now on your chat section. Suppose something like this is written, rupees 1000. Just a second, I'm sending you
Okay.
rupees 1000, something like this, 5,000 dollar. Okay, something like this. It is written, and you have a column like this. Now, if I want to take out number from this column and create a new column where I will only have the numbers instead of rupees and dollar, then how will I create this in Power Query Editor? So
Okay.
something like this, you have different currencies written with their numerical part, something like this that you are seeing on the screen. So how will you take out the number from this column?
Yeah, like if I think so, if if the currency symbol was present only at one place, I
Hmm.
could have, or and it was only one currency, I could have used a custom way to split the columns, using a custom delimiter. But can you give me a minute, please? I'm just thinking. Is that fine?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay. We can. Okay, and we have to do it in Power Query only, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
And there are, you're telling that it's not just these two values
Yeah,
we
yeah,
have.
you have thousands. You have thousands of records like this, but I want to take the number out from this. So how will I do
Okay.
that?
Okay. Yeah, so what we can do is, I think so this might work. We have an option in Power Query that says column
Hmm.
from examples. Okay, so if we just
Okay.
write numbers, I think so it can take that. So it will just take numbers. If we just go to column from examples and select the column, the column that you just sent, which has values like this,
Hmm.
and then we just write numbers there. So in the new column, only numbers would be present. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, this might
Okay.
work. Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me what are the limitations of using a direct query mode?
Yeah, like the limitations, not the okay.
Hmm.
So the limitations, there are some functions that won't work. So time intelligence functions, these functions, I'm sure that they won't work. So this
Hmm.
is one limitation. Then once you have created a report using direct query, you'll have to give access to the users for both the report and the database that you're pulling from. Otherwise they won't be
Hmm.
able to see the data. So there will be, I don't know if it is a bad thing or good thing, but once first you give access to the report, so then you can view the report. Once they have viewed the report, you have to give access on the table. So you know that is something that you have to do. Then it
Okay, fine.
depends. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Can you tell me the difference between a star and a snowflake schema?
Yeah. So in a star schema, we have fact table, and in that from fact table, all the different dimensions are correctly connected. So there is
Hmm.
just one relationship between fact and dimension. There is no dimension to dimension relationship. It's only fact to dimension relationship. That is star
Hmm.
schema. And in snowflake schema, we can have dimension to dimension relationship as well.
Okay. Okay. Suppose if you want to convert snowflake schema to star schema, what will you do for that?
Okay. Uh, okay, can you give me a minute to think, please?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay. So what we can do is, we have options in Power BI, that we can maybe append these two and join two tables. So I can join the two tables that the dimensions and dimensions are connected. So if two dimensions are connected, I can join them, and then it will just one dimension, and then I can connect it to fact.
So will it not create a problem while creating the relationship with the fact table if you do like this?
Uh, yeah, yeah, because I think, yeah, because then if we have products and sub-products, and if I multiply it, one product can have multiple sub-products. So it
Correct.
won't be a, might be a problem.
Okay, so how will you mitigate it?
Okay. Maybe okay. What can I do is I can I would have product. Maybe I'm just giving an example because it will be easier for me to think that way. So if we're talking about product and sub product, what I can do is I can just once while I'm combining it, I'll also join combine concatenate the product ID and product sub category ID. So now I'll have a unique number that unique every unique number unique sorry a unique row which will be same for or different for all the different rows. That will be a unique row. I'll have to do the same thing in fact. So I'll have to make sure that the product sub category is also present there. So can get the value. Yeah, I
Oh,
think so. Yeah, this might work. Yeah.
okay, okay, fine. Okay, have you heard about role playing dimensions?
No, I'm sorry. No, I haven't.
Okay, have you heard about use relationship DAX function?
Yeah, I have used. Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah.
Okay, in which scenario do we use that function?
Okay. I have. We can have multiple relationship between two tables, although only one can be active. So if another one is inactive, and I have to, I have to make that relationship active dynamically, I can use relationship function. I have read about it. I'm sorry, I've never used it. But yeah, this is what I've read about it. Yeah.
Okay, fine. And how much good you are in writing DAX queries? Like what kind of DAX functions you have used till now?
Okay. So I've used calculate. I have used um, normal filters. I've used has one value, count, sum x. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So suppose there is a requirement from the end user and you have to calculate the cumulative sales for the year of a company. And how will you write the DAX code for me? Can you write the DAX code in the chat section, please?
Okay. So you're telling this what the cumulative total of what sales revenue
Correct, correct, correct. Or
or
revenue,
sales?
whatever you can say.
Okay. Okay. So give me a second. I'm writing it, please.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Okay.
So what I
So,
will do is, yeah.
mm-hmm,
So first, I'm finding the sum of sales, and
mm-hmm,
so that will give me the sum. But now you're telling the cumulative total, that is running total, correct?
mm-hmm.
So I will like what will this do is first it will go and get the sum for that particular row, and then so it will check that if it should be smaller than the next value that we have in the the
Okay.
yeah table. So yeah. Yeah, this
Okay,
is how I think.
okay. I'm sending a measure for you. Okay, in the chat. So tell me, is this measure correct? Can I write a measure like this? Total sales and total cost is itself a measure. So can I write a measure like this under calculate function?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So you're telling that total sales is a
Mm-hmm.
measure, correct? And total
Correct.
cost is also a measure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. What I think is, um, I think so. You cannot use the second measure that you've used, your total cost. It should be,
Mm-hmm.
inside another, being encapsulated in another function, like a filter. So it should be maybe calculate total sales. Then after comma, it should be filter, and then you have to put maybe total is greater than equal to 5,000, greater than 5,000. Sorry.
Okay, fine. That means you are saying you can't write the total cost in the filter part directly. You can use another function instead of this and then include this measure, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay. So I have sent one more DAX code. Can you optimize this DAX code?
Okay.
Like, can you use some other function, something like that, so that the execution time for the DAX code reduces? What will you do? Do you have any idea?
Yeah. So there are two things that I can think of as of now. The
Mm-hmm.
first thing is the total sales. What you have written the measure here. What we can do is we can either use a variable in the main thing in place of the total sales, because if we use total sales, a measure inside another measure, what happens is
Mm-hmm.
first it will go to this measure, then it goes to total sales. For every row, it calculates, it goes to the total sales measure, calculates there, and then get the result here. So that is one
Mm-hmm.
thing that we can do. Either we can just directly put the calculation that you have used in this measure here directly, or we can use this in a variable and then use that variable here. That is the first thing I can think of. The
Okay.
second thing, maybe you can also use a filter here in product equal to apple. We can encapsulate it in another function that also helps, I suppose. Yeah.
Okay, okay, fine. Okay, suppose you have a line chart in your report, and on y-axis you have total sales, and on x-axis you have months from January to December. Okay, but what user wants is that they want the starting value as April and the last value as March. It should not start the value from January and end on December. It should start from April and end on March. So how will you implement this scenario? Did you get the
Okay.
question?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Can you please give me a minute to think?
yeah. You can.
Okay. So this will be the fiscal year, right?
Correct, correct.
From April to March. So I think so there's a way that you can change that you want it accordingly, according to fiscal year. That is something that you can do in
Mm-hmm.
in Power BI. I'm not exactly not getting how we, I'm not exactly remembering how can we do it, but you can change the value, like how fiscal year, like if you wanted the data should be shown in a fiscal year manner, you can do it. So
Okay.
that is one way. And maybe if this is the second way that I tell is a very hard coded way. The second way is maybe you can just mark April as one, and then like that you can go April 1, April, May, June, so like that you can go ahead and then sort it by that manner. So yeah, that you can do it using switch.
Okay, okay, fine. Can you tell me the difference between related and lookup value function?
Yeah. So in related, what happens is you have, if you use a related function, if you're using a related function, it is important that two tables should have a relationship between them.
Mm-hmm.
And in lookup, I think so even if the relationship is not there, it should be fine. Yeah.
Okay. And how will you differentiate count and count rows function?
I'm sorry, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure about it.
Okay. Suppose you have a table visual on your report and you are pulling product from the product table, and suppose you are trying to pull the total sales measure for every product, you are getting the same value for every record in that table. Okay. So what can be the issue behind it? Like how will you rectify it? You are getting the same value for every product. You are getting the same sales for every product. What will you do to rectify it?
Okay. And okay, I'm sorry. Can you come again, please? We have the
You have a table
product is,
visual where you
huh?
have different product names, suppose product A, product B, product C, something like this, and
Hmm.
you should have respective sales for those products, right? Something
Hmm.
100 rupees, 200 rupees, 300 rupees. But what you are saying, you are getting same value for every record, 100, 100, 100. So what can be a
Hmm.
issue behind this?
Okay. So have we used a calculated column as sum, or are you using this from a different table that is not connected with the product table? So that is one thing that can be the reason if you're using a calculated column and those tables are not connected, or if you're using a calculated column and then you have just used sum. So if you've just used sum, there will be no context, row context available. That's why it's showing that. So what we can do is we can write a measure,
Mm-hmm.
maybe sum there, and then if you use sum in a measure, then automatically the row context is present if you use sum.
Okay, as you have taken the name of row context, can you tell me the difference between row context and filter context?
Okay, yeah. So what happens is, if there are two tables, okay, in Power BI,
Mm-hmm.
so if it is connected to one another, the row context travels there. So if I select some values, then the row context travels there. If I've
Mm-hmm.
selected product from table A and it is connected to another table that shows sales, then whatever product I have selected there, the row context will travel from table A to that table B. So that is row context. Whereas filter
Okay.
context is if I have selected some values maybe for current year, then only that year should be selected in that particular table. That will be filter context. Yeah, I think so. It is this. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay. So, have you used decomposition tree visual present in the visualization pane?
Yeah. Yeah. I think so.
So, can you give any use case of this visual?
Okay. So maybe I can build to you the one that I used. So, sometimes what happens is we have to get the uh, generally, the hierarchies differently. So if I
Mm-hmm.
am looking into a chart and I just want to see maybe the total sales that I have done, and from that how many products. So if I just plus on that, I just go and check products, then it will be this product, then maybe product, and then I go and check, okay, this is the amount of thing that I have totally done, and that amount it goes and checks that, okay, what is the sub product, like each how much value I got for each sub product. So
Mm-hmm.
this would make sense for me. So that if I create a report, maybe a bar chart using this,
Mm-hmm.
it will just have one way, one hierarchy. But if maybe some other person is present and wants to check, or he or she wants to check, that not on the basis of product, but maybe on the
Mm-hmm.
basis of country, that okay, this
Mm-hmm.
country made this amount of money, so you can just put all the values in the decomposition tree and you can check, get the values, get the hierarchy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Suppose you have developed the report and you want to publish the report to the service. So, after publishing to the service, in how many ways you can share the report to an end user?
Okay. So either you can create an app and then
Mm-hmm.
give access to that app to all the end users. So in
Mm-hmm.
that way, I think so you don't require, like, everybody doesn't shouldn't, like, if they don't require a pro license.
Okay.
You can just deploy it on a workspace and then give access to that workspace. But if you do that, I think so you should have pro license, and there are other things as well. They can also make changes in the report. Yeah. So that I've not worked on service a lot. I have
Mm-hmm.
deployed more on report server. So yeah.
So have you implemented row level security yourself till now?
Yeah, I've done that.
What kind of static or dynamic?
Dynamic.
Okay. So can you tell me the difference between user principal name and user name DAX function? How they work?
Yeah. So I think so for, if you're using user principal name, then if you're using your your sign on uh, uh, on services, then I think so you have to use user principal name. For username, I think so it works correctly on Power BI desktop. But if if you're opening it using in
Mm-hmm.
Power BI service, I think so you have to use your principal name. I'm sorry, I've not used username.
Okay, okay, fine, no problem. Okay, so apart from this, have you worked on SQL Server or any of the relational databases?
Yeah, I've worked a bit on SQL Server.
Okay, so how much will you rate yourself in SQL out of 10?
7.5. I've not worked much on it because
Okay, can you tell me the difference between primary and unique key?
yeah. So primary key will always be not null, whereas a unique you can
Mm-hmm.
have one null values in that. So yeah, that's one difference I can think of.
Okay. Can you drop a table having a primary key in it directly?
No, we cannot do that because then it will throw up an error that it has a primary key constraint. So what we'll have to do is
Okay.
first we'll have to drop the primary key and then we have to drop the table.
Okay. Suppose you have a table and you have a column called full name where you have the names of different people, their full names, right?
Mhm.
So, suppose if I want to take out first name from that full name column and generate a separate column, how will I do that using a SQL query?
Yeah, okay. So what we can do is we can use we can just get we can use substring and till the time the end point should be till the time we get a blank. So once we encounter
Mm-hmm.
a blank, we'll just not take anything else. We'll just put all the other things still blank that we've taken. We'll just put it into a new row.
Okay. What is the difference between union and union all?
Okay, so if I use union all, my all the tables, union basically what it does is it appends. So if I have three different
Mm-hmm.
tables, it will append the three different tables that I have. So this is what basically union all does. Union also
Mm-hmm.
does the same thing. What it will do is it will just get the distinct values and do it. So it will it will takes a lot of time because then it has to go through all the
Mm-hmm.
tables and check if it is if it is unique or not, if it is distinct or not. So if we already know that there won't be any duplicates, we can go ahead with union all. I think so that's it. I can I can say that interchangeably. Well, I'm a bit confused, union and union all, but either of them is one. One does this and the
Mm-hmm.
other thing does that. Yeah.
Okay, when do we use having clause?
Okay. So where and having. So we can use
Mm-hmm.
where when where if we don't have joins, because then you just check, okay, select column 1 2 from table where id is 10. So that will
Mm-hmm.
directly we can directly take. But if we have a join, then where will work, because join where will work before and then join works. So what needs to be done is then you have to do having, because no, sorry, group by, because then before group by where works and then group by works and then having works. So if you have used where before
Okay.
group by, then we'll not get the right data. So it's important that first we group the data, and after grouping, maybe we check some things, that if some values is there, then we use having. So group by, if group by there, then we should use having, because
Mm-hmm.
it's in the chain of how the of what keyword is first implemented, having comes after group by.
Okay. Do you know what is the difference between clustered and non-clustered index?
Yeah. Oh wow, I know about it. Just give me a second. I think I'm just forgetting. Yeah. So, I remember what is clustered and non-clustered index. It's just that
Mm-hmm.
I'm not remembering it. Can you just give me a minute, maybe? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I know what it is. It's just, I'm not remembering it at the moment. Maybe it's related
Okay,
to some,
fine.
some
No problem.
indexing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay. So have you heard about common table expressions?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I ask you to write a SQL query with the help of common table expressions to delete the duplicate records of a table, can you write the SQL query for me?
Okay. Uh, I have to write it down. No, just give me a second.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry about the syntax and all. If you write the logic, then that's it also fine.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm not very sure about if my syntax would be correct. What we can use is we can use row number here,
Mm-hmm.
because we can just check. We can just give row numbers using. We have to use a Windows function, so we can
Mm-hmm.
use row number here and then partition it by maybe if the ID is same. So once we get that, we let if the row numbers are same. So if we have 1 2 3 4, if more than one it's present, then we'll just remove that. So yeah, that is how we do it. I'm not sure if I'll be able to write the syntax correctly.
Okay, okay, fine, no problem. Suppose you have a table and you have a column called salary column,
Hmm.
and if you want to take out the second highest salary using a subquery, how will you do that? Can you write the SQL code for me?
Okay.
So you
So
have
the
to take out
section.
the second highest salary, yeah.
Okay. The second highest salary. Using a subquery, we
Mm-hmm.
cannot use the rank function here, correct?
You can use a rank function inside a subquery if you want, but yeah, using a subquery, can you write it?
Yeah.
Are you writing?
Yeah, I'm writing. Just give me a second, please. I'm sorry if the syntax won't be that correct, but
Yeah,
logic.
that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, that is fine.
Hmm. Okay, I'm not sure. I'll tell you because you're. Okay. Select salary. I've sent it as well. Select salary from TB1 where ID equal to. Select ID and then
Mm-hmm.
use the rank function. We use, we partition it by the ID. No, we should have
Okay.
we partition it by salary and we select the ID there. So where rank equal to 2, rank 1, I'll just use as rank 1. You have to give the
Mm-hmm.
alias name after you've written the rank thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
sorry
fine.
about the syntax. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. Okay, Shivika, I'm done from my side. Thank you for your time. It was nice talking to you, and good luck for your results.
Thank you.